Hello, class. Today we're going to talk about pitches. And this is not a baseball reference, but a way to get a journalist to buy into your story and to take on a story that you want them to get excited about. So you want to convince an individual journalist or blogger to do a story. Keep the focus on individual. Don't send a blast to everybody. This isn't a news release that is already your news. This is an idea, a concept, a thought. Target specifically to one media outlet or reporter. Email. And while there might be a few people out there who want it in paper, faxed, or a phone call, the initial contact 99.9% of the time is going to be via email. I went to a conference in 2011 for media relations professionals at colleges, and there were national writers, producers from the Today Show, Associated Press writers, really big guns. And they said that they get hundreds of emails on a daily basis, hundreds. And they try to read them all, but it may take days to get to them all. They also said that they rarely answer the phone. So you've got to break through the clutter and hook them in with a good subject line. It can't be boring, but it also needs to be clear. So always start with the salutation, dear whoever. So here's the pitch letter format. Obviously, the two subject to one specific journalist or blogger. Don't do a blast and don't put multiple people in the blind carbon copy field. That can go to a spam file. Then the subject can start with exclusive, but make sure it's an exclusive. Make sure it's news, as we've talked about that before, what makes news. And then just tell them a good story. Well, one thing I wrote once was Drury President Todd Parnell went skydiving on his 65th birthday. So the lead was Drury President Todd Parnell loves adventure. He regularly canoes our streams and rivers. He's ridden camels in Mongolia and climbed mountains in Colorado. One thing he's never done is jump out of a perfectly good airplane until his 65th birthday. So we talked about soft news or feature news releases. A story pitch can replace a feature news release. It's easier to read and offers the journalist a sense of story ownership. A news release is designed to be printed as is. A story pitch is inviting a journalist to cover a story at your organization that you think is newsworthy, and you hope they will find it newsworthy as well. Pitch letters aren't for hard news, such as announcing, your three presidential candidate finalists. That's a media advisory in a news release. These pitches are for stories that aren't necessarily time sensitive or there is a long window to do the story. Send it to one journalist or blogger. It's an exclusive offer. Or I've done this. I've sent the pitch to one journalist in print, radio, and television. I did that with a computer science pitch at Drury. The newspaper bid on the story, but she did an overall story on computer science programs at every college in town. We got mentioned in a quote, but not much else. Radio never bid on it. Computer stories, computer science isn't really a very visual story or a very good radio story. It's more visual. TV did bite on it, but 4 months later, so the Joplin tornado delayed the story. However, it was all about Drury, our students, and our graduates, so that was very successful. Start a story, a fascinating story, one paragraph, only more than one if it's really compelling. Journalists are busy, doing more with less these days. They don't have time to read a ton of stuff. So hook the journalist in. Write that first paragraph as if it were the lead of a story. Don't let it go on too long. Get to the point. So part two, you want to state the purpose of the pitch. Get to the point in the second paragraph. Tell them why you're writing. Say why you're writing to him or her instead of someone else. I noticed your story about blah, 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 and thought you might be interested in this story angle. Never ever write a Me Too pitch. I saw your story about after school art adventures and I wanted to let you know that we have one too. That story is done. You missed the opportunity or just didn't know about it. Continue to sell the story in the second paragraph. Add a couple of more good details. Third paragraph, set the terms of the offer. It's an exclusive. I'll need a reply in a week. Offer to help them set it up. Give names, emails, and phone numbers of all of the sources. Make sure they know you're providing that information to the journalist. So yeah, you don't want your sources to be surprised, right? Be helpful. Don't demand that the story be done on your terms or just with your organization. Last paragraph, say what's going to happen. I'll call you on this day. They may head you off and say, we'll do it or we'll pass. Make sure your phone number and email are in the note and thank them for reading your pitch. Thank them for reading it. And on President Parnell's story about skydiving with his daughter on his 65th birthday, the Chronicle of Higher Education just said, we'll pass. If you call, I'd say you need to know and trust the journalist. If you cold call, not recommended often, but if you do, know what you're going to say, even script it. Get to the point quickly, be ready to answer questions, understand their deadlines, and don't call, say, a TV station at 4:30 in the afternoon or at 10 o'clock at night. Be ready to start the story right away, be well informed, never overpromise anything. And so here's some final tips. Sell the story and how it will be beneficial to the reporter's readers, viewers, and listeners. This isn't a sales letter for your organization. It's a sales letter for the story. So do make the follow-up call if necessary and be ready to go with the story. If you send a pitch and the journalist bites, but you're not ready to go, then you've burned a relationship. So there, in under 6 minutes, are story pitches. Hope you enjoyed it.